Welcome, everybody. It's so good to see everybody, and welcome here. We're doing a live and a Zoom today. And I do want to welcome, and I'm glad you're here to learn about the difference between activating the body versus supplementation and how we can take control of our own biology. And then there'll be time for short questions and answers at the end of this presentation. I learned how to take control of my own biology a few years ago when I was fighting for my own health. My name is Dana Marie Maiello. You can find me on Holistic Freedom Institute. I'm an author. I'm a retired GS Army employee. I am a former military intelligence officer's wife for 20 years. My son is a combat Marine veteran, and my daughter is a U of A graduate and is an RN. And I have 3 grandsons who are teenagers. And in my life, I have suffered 5 concussions in 8 years. And I was searching and searching for healing. And when I was in supporting the troops with the Army, they told me I was abusing the Army medical system because they couldn't help me. And then I found activation, and it changed my life as well as the lives of my family and friends. And I'm here to offer you that opportunity tonight. And I'm here to share and educate everyone I could possibly share this with. And it is my business, Holistic Freedom Institute. This is part of what I do. And I hope you take away what you can from this. And I'd like to introduce, well, first we have 2 speakers. Our first speaker today is Dr. Neil Goodman and Gabe Pearson, who will present what you may not know and how to control our own biology. First, we'll hear from Dr. Neil Goodman. Neil Goodman has served 14 years with the United States Army Medical Corp and has been a board-certified pediatrician in adolescent medicine for the last 37 years. He is the practicing MD at Center for Life in St. Simons Island, Georgia. He is an international educator in integrative approaches that include nutrition, alternative therapies to help clients of all ages be the best version of themselves. Dr. Goodman is the author of 2 books and sits on the scientific committee of the major wellness company we will be discussing. He is also an avid artist, a sculptor, and an animal enthusiast. I'd like to present Dr. Neil Goodman.
Thank you, Dana Marie. Thank you so much. It's really a privilege to be able to talk to this group tonight. I've known Dana now for about 3 years, you'd say, Dana? And it's just been an absolute privilege. And I remember when Dana came up to me, and I think it was 2019, I was giving a talk about the science of NAD activation, which you're going to learn a little bit about tonight. And she came up and told me that when she heard about this science, she knew that this was going to help her. And she embarked on a journey to utilize this in her own life. And she has just had an incredible improvement in her own personal recovery from traumatic brain injury, and had contacted me some years later and told me how appreciative she was that I had this influence in her. And honestly, I didn't even know her. So we're coming full circle once again, where she's invited me back now to talk to a group of people that she's invited, and, near and dear to my heart. Military members, I presume that some of you are military members, and I really appreciate your service, as I've given service and Dana Marie has given to her country. And we have this unifying experience as all being in it together. And there's so much that we can learn and teach one another. And that's what I'm going to try to do today. So I'm going to switch to my slides, we're going to talk about some really interesting science. But what's important is that we not make it too complicated, okay? I want you to understand it. I'm not here to confuse people. I I want you to understand there's a real story to this. I have a story too, and I'm going to share that story with you. Let me see if I can get my slides going here. And you let me know, Dana Marie, if you're able to see this screen share.
We can.
Okay, great. Okay, let me go ahead and just again say, hey, everybody. Again, my name is Dr. Neil Goodman, and I'm a pediatric doctor, as Dana Marie said, and I'm from coastal Georgia. But I'm also a biohacker. And by biohacker, I mean that I am super interested in using technology, science, and nutrition to make my body the best that it can be. And I got interested in biohacking in my own health about 5 or 6 years ago. I was starting to have physical decline in many areas of my own personal life, perhaps because I'd been exposed to a lot of stress through my occupation, ignoring my own eating and exercise, and then lots of toxins because of my upbringing. Growing up, I had lived for 16 years in a household where I couldn't escape the 3-pack per day smoking habit of my father. Ultimately, he died of lung cancer, and 10 years later, my mother met the same fate, but she died of breast cancer, even though she didn't smoke a day in her life. And I don't know if you know it or not, but there is an association of breast cancer with secondhand smoke. So when I got to their age of 55, I was thinking, when was I going to get that same cancer diagnosis, right? After all, I have the same genetic makeup as my parents. I was working so hard taking care of all of my patients that I was essentially neglecting my own health. And that's the typical story that affects doctors. I didn't want to become the next statistic, and so I had to do something to restore myself. I started eating better, and I was trying to exercise, but I was so tired. I was sore after my workouts that, I didn't even really want to do the next one. I began to go on vacations with my wife, who is also a doctor, you should know, and she was in a similar state as me. We both needed some relief, and so we would go away to get like a massage and eat healthier. But after the week vacation, we were right back in the same situation. It was all temporary, and it was really frustrating. So in 2016, a friend introduced me to some products from this wellness company called LifeVantage that was making some groundbreaking discoveries in the wellness field. They had created an incredible product called Protandim NRF2 that was based on 30 years of Nobel Prize science level research. And this technology had been around since the mid-90s, but I never knew about it until a friend suggested that I investigate it for myself. And so I started taking it daily, and I did start to notice subtle changes initially, but after 6 months, it was clear that it was causing profound changes. And I am so excited to tell you now that I am a completely different person. I've lost some needed weight. I'm very much healthier. I have more stamina and energy. I sleep better. I actually want to exercise now because I don't get tired doing it. And best of all, the very process that was aging me, called oxidative stress, was reduced by 40% in just a month. And now it's reduced to 70%, which means that I've essentially improved my own longevity, and I've reversed the trends that would have caused me to die at an early age like my parents. And I am so psyched about what I was able to do that I could essentially shout it from the mountaintops. So let's talk about you. Here you are. You've come to this webinar or this meeting through an invite, and you were either invited directly by me or one of my business partners like Dana Marie, who cared enough about you and your situation that they wanted you to see this very same presentation with the hopes that it could change your life too. And then I later turned my health improvement journey into an opportunity to tell the world about these amazing products and the company that created them. So what is this thing that we're going to talk about? I'm going to first talk about flipping switches on our health, and then I'm going to show you how to do the same thing with your finances. And actually, Gabe is going to assist me on that. Let's look at how to flip the switches on your health. If you remember nothing else from this talk, remember this. I'm not talking about another supplement. I've got so many people that say the word. I don't even like it. I mean, unfortunately, but that's what these products are. They're labeled as that because there are two major categories that the FDA is involved in: pharmaceuticals, which you all know about, and supplements. But I want you to think of these products as nutraceuticals. They're sort of a hybrid. Think of this Protandim as an activator, something that switches your body on. It essentially flips the switch. It turns your body on to do what it was supposed to do naturally. And let me share this with you. You have to know that we are being hijacked all day long, 24/7. We're exposed to toxins everywhere. They're in our food, they're in our water. I mean, let's face it, even our food supply is nowhere near what it used to be. There's so many processed foods and everything else. And let's talk about stress. I mean, you want to know about stress? I don't know about you, but 2020 and 2021, guys, have we had a little bit of stress? Yes or yes? Right. We've had a ton of stress this year. And I'm sure there's lots of people that are now smoking more, they're drinking more, they're overworked. They may not be happy, they may not have any work, and they're stressed about the fact that they have no income coming in right now. I get it. I get it. This problem is everywhere. And so you need to know that there are other insults like toxins, like environmental pollution, pollutants that are getting us all day long, and other things like blue light, EMF, and UV rays. So here's the thing. There were about 85,000 chemicals that have been introduced over the last 100 years. And that's like huge. That's 850 chemicals a year for the last 100 years. Can you believe it? That's one of the main reasons why our bodies used to be able to overcome a chemical assault and produce just the right amount of enzymes and antioxidants to protect us. They just can't anymore. Our bodies have become overpowered by these threats. So what all these things have done is essentially to turn the lights off on our protective systems. You can do your best. You can take your antioxidants. I mean, I still eat my fruits and vegetables. I eat healthy. I'm exercising regularly now. I drink filtered water, so I should be protected, right? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not enough. No way. It's just not. I don't know what you're doing, but your body needs to be activated in order to turn the lights back on these systems. We've already collected cumulative damage. These are some of the things that you may be feeling right now. You may have problems with your immune system. Maybe you're getting sick all the time. Maybe you have like this. Why did I go into the room? Where are my keys? What was I going to say? I don't know if this defines you, but when I was getting in my late 40s and early 50s, guys, some of these things were showing up like this time. I mean, like it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. My God, I didn't know how I was going to make it through the rest of the afternoon. Have you had that happen? That's called stress, okay? That's when you start adding in then responsibilities like families and the house and the car and your jobs and those things. Now let's just add the fact that there's a whole bunch of people who are relying on you. I think you've just added a little bit more stress, right? Are you feeling this with me? What about your mood, your attitude, the fatigue, okay? Just look at the lady in this picture. She's like worn out. So what's happening here is that there's a cascade of sequential problems and breakdowns that are happening internally. In the body, there are scientific explanations for why those things are happening. It's not just emotional stress. It's this thing called oxidative stress. This is just a fancy term that sums up how your body is essentially chemically rusting from the inside out. There's also mitochondrial decline, where you don't have the energy that used to be there, because this system is also degrading. And then there's the third problem, which you don't even know about yet, and that's called low sirtuin activity, which is basically like the gears in your genes are getting all gunked up. There's a ton of problems happening, and that's what's turning these lights off and dimming our switches. So realize that since scientists have already discovered that we have genes in our bodies that can keep us healthy and can stimulate these failing body systems, the next logical step was to figure out if we could leverage those genes. In essence, the analogy is that if you could flip the switch, would you? So that's meant to be a rhetorical question, since everybody on the face of the earth would do that. If they could do that, they would want to turn those genetic pathways right back on. Why wouldn't you do that? If you could leverage those genes to help take care of those three problems? Okay, so I'm going to address the three of them for you right now. And in order, again, the first one is oxidative stress. What the heck is that word? Well, it's another word for cellular aging. It's when those cells start to break down. See when that apple got a bite taken out of it? Look at the skin. The protective barrier was removed. That was the damaging event. And it started to oxidize or yellow or basically age. It does this right in front of you. That's what's happening to the cells in your body all day long. It's just that it's such a slow, insidious process that you don't even know it's going on. It's crazy. So there are over 250,000 clinical studies telling us how bad this oxidative stress is for your body. So here's the situation. We've identified that the genetic pathway that prevents oxidative stress is called NRF2. And if you can activate it with specific signals from food by taking 5 specific plant ingredients combined together in a specific ratio, they amplify each other by 1,800%. I'm talking about an incredible discovery, Protandim NRF2 Synergizer. You can literally flip that switch back on again. What? Are you kidding me? Do you know what kind of a big deal that is? Well, here's the thing. By flipping that switch, you can lower a person's oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days and as much as 70% by 4 months. That's what I did. That's not just some made-up number. That's a peer-reviewed clinical study looking at blood, and you can't fake that. It raises glutathione by 300% and 2 other super antioxidants by 30 to 54%. They reported it in the NIH's scientific publications, so go look and see what the experts had to say about it. What they determined is that by lowering that oxidative stress, you're lowering cellular aging. Think of reversal of cellular aging by 40%. Look at that apple again. To give you a different visual, think about it like a huge fire in a big house. You could sit there and try to put out a fire with a small Dixie cup of water, but wouldn't you rather put it out with a large fire hose or a sprinkler system that you could activate? Well, when it needs to be turned on, that's what Protandim NRF2 does for your body. In fact, Washington State University in 2015 said that it was the most important health promoting approach for the foreseeable future, and it might be the most extraordinary breakthrough in the history of health. And the National Institute on Aging also did studies. I mean, you need to go see these studies for yourself to see exactly how it works. I'm talking about the activation of extreme levels of antioxidant production internally, which is controlled by this thing we called NRF2. It's just that your natural internal antioxidant production can't put out the fire anymore because this pathway is tired and actually damaged. Typically, your capability gets lower as you age, okay? I mean, as you get older in life, this NRF2 genetic signaling pathway diminishes or slows down. Now, this graph shows what it's like without taking Protandim NRF2, but activating your body by flipping that NRF2 switch and telling your body to produce more of those antioxidants and protective anti-inflammatory enzymes, you'll see that the antioxidant production is boosted right back up. And like I told you, I mean, don't take my word on it. Go to the NIH website. Guys, the website is simple. Just pubmed.gov. You'll see there are between 27 and 31 peer-reviewed studies on there from the likes of Harvard, Free Radical Biology, Colorado State, Virginia Commonwealth. There was a study in there that was published in the journal Circulation. Every cardiologist in the US reads the journal of Circulation. The fact that Protandim has a clinical study in that same prestigious journal, that blew me away. So you can see all the different organizations and schools that have been studying it. Go to PubMed.gov. I mean, go now. Do you the research yourself. You don't have to believe me. So now that we've identified that first problem and came up with a solution, The next step was to look at how do we turn back on problem number 2. Remember the mitochondria? That was the second problem, mitochondrial dysfunction. It was that this also diminishes over time. And just to remind you that the third problem was that sirtuin activity also diminishes. So don't worry about these big fancy words, just follow these concepts, guys. So mitochondrial decline, basically mitochondria are our energy factories. It's like this battery losing its charge. Your cell phone starts to lose its charge. You know how it goes from full and then it goes down like half a bar. That's what's going on in your body. If you haven't heard of mitochondrial dysfunction and all the issues going on with the mitochondria, the powerhouse of our cells, then you need to know that they are the batteries and it's where we get our energy, our cellular energy for everything, breathing, talking, thinking, moving, everything relies on the energy that is produced by our cells. And unfortunately, like it says, over time, that mitochondrial production goes down. So we've also identified that the NRF1 genetic pathway is the one that's responsible for mitochondria. We learned this from mapping the human genome. Once again, researchers worked on creating a blend of 5 plant ingredients or 5 natural ingredients in Protandim NRF1 synergizer. We're now able to flip that NRF1 switch to turn on our mitochondrial production by 70%. That's huge, guys. So not only are you producing more mitochondria, but they're larger and healthier mitochondria that can resist oxidative stress and destruction as well. All right, so what does that mean in English? More energy, more energy. If you increase the cellular production, you're going to increase the energy level of your cells. You're not going to feel like you're sluggish or dragging or fatigued all the time, like that lady was in the picture where she's holding her head and she's going, oh my gosh, it's only 3 o'clock and I'm ready to pass out in the middle of the afternoon. I mean, this is huge. I promise you, it's never been done before. These 2 products are literally pioneering the field of health and wellness. So now here's the third problem. It's sirtuin decline. Sirtuin is another big fancy name, but basically what sirtuins are proteins responsible for cleanup. They're like the garbage men. They dig out the cell, they keep things moving, they lubricate the cells, keeping them moving and getting rid of all the waste products and replacing dying cells. But again, over time, the sirtuin activity not only decreases, but the production of them also decreases. And so now you have the waste or the gunk building up right in the gears where they're slowed down. Now, the NAD genetic pathway is what's responsible for building up sirtuins. In this case, we've come up with 4 ingredients, 4 natural ingredients blended together in Protandim NAD synergizer that are flipping that switch on again. Do you notice the common theme? It's about flipping the switch. You activate the pathway and the body produces more sirtuins by 100% in 24 hours. In English, what that means, everyone, is before you had 2 ways to increase NAD and sirtuins. First, you could starve yourself, like caloric restriction, like 600 calories a day diet. I mean, that's not going to happen for me. 600 calorie a day diet, and you would increase your NAD level maybe like 94% in 3 days. You could also intermittently fast, which is more doable, but with activation, you can essentially double your sirtuin function within 24 hours, 1 day, by taking Protandim NAD synergizer and make more NAD and sirtuins. Increase that sirtuin activity and all of a sudden the cell gets degunked and they start moving again, just like they were supposed to. Okay, so now we've talked about turning back on 3 different genetic signaling pathways. What does all that do for us? Well, all the things that our cellular systems do, that they start happening again. We've eliminated oxidative stress to decrease cell damage and aging. We're boosting mitochondrial production to boost our cellular energy. And finally, we've lowered this gunk buildup of the cells by increasing sirtuin activity. So now here's the big question. What do you think would happen if you could flip all 3 of these switches at the same time? And I got to tell you, I get so excited when I ask people this, because when you flip all 3, here's a summary of what happens. Less oxidative stress, less of that body basically eating itself up, cellular rusting, right? That's cellular aging. improvement in the cellular energy and the improvement in the processes or the degunkification. It's making that cell actually do what it's supposed to do when you put it all three of these things together. And it also does something really else interesting. When I saw this study in 2019, which is what I was presenting when Dana Marie Maiello was on stage, you may not be a science person, and maybe some of this stuff I've talked about is going way over your head, but there are some scientists out there that when they saw this, like when I saw it, it blew my mind, because not only is each product the best in its class, there is nothing else that activates NRF2 pathways or NRF1 pathways like protandim. And remember, this is a first of its kind. There's nothing else that activates NAD sirtuin pathway like protandim NAD synergizer. But when you put all three of them together, look at these results. The results are exponentially better. I mean, look at that. The blue bars, anywhere from 71% on the low end right up to over 838% more activation with all three of them working together. I'm talking about witnessing a scientific breakthrough, and you're hearing about it now. No company, no product has ever been able to do this before, and Protandim got 7 US patents and 6 international patents for it, and it's my understanding that there are 3 more on the way. Bottom line is that the 3 of them are better than any one of them alone, and this is not a sum of their effects, it's actually a multiplication of their effects. They each make each other amplify so much better. You getting this now? Do you realize the potential of your health here? These are life-changing products in a world where people need this more than ever. So I'm just going to ask you, are you ready to flip the switch? What are some of the benefits? And I was kind of talking about those as we were going along. Positive mood and motivation. Who doesn't want to be more motivated, especially in the world we're living in? There's so many things coming at us right now. We just want to live, not just longer, but healthy longevity, correct? We want to improve our health spans, better focus, clarity, and concentration, more mental energy. It also helps to mediate our immune system. God knows we need that, and supports a healthier vascular system. Those are things that everybody is looking for right now, particularly in this crazy world we are in. So if you're ready to flip the switch, let's do it. It's as simple as the Protandim Tri-Synergizer. That's all 3 of them. And they're even offering the customers free shipping now when you purchase all of them at one time on a subscription. So, I mean, this is something that we needed to do for our customers. And they're going to offer free shipping and also a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. And if you don't like it, I mean, send it back. Absolutely no risk here. They know that this will change your life. And if it doesn't, LifeVantage will give you your money back. It comes out to like $5 a day. That's less than a cup of store-bought, fancy schmancy coffee. I mean, really, it's less than $5 a day, folks. So, I mean, it's your health. Do it, activate your body, and get it turned back on again. And I didn't even go into all the other products that LifeVantage has. I mean, there's so many. Look at, we've got things for clean energy, brain food, concentration. We've got things for your gut. But I want to just say that these stories are better when you can share them. And Dana Marie shared with you, I'm going to turn this share off. Dana Marie shared with you her story of her healing. And I told you a little bit about how I found out about LifeVantage and my motivation that I didn't want to die the same death that my parents had when I realized there was something I could do about it. And as a scientist, and I realized that I could be changing people's lives and improving their health, that's when I got on board with LifeVantage myself. And so I wanted to share this story too. So I'm going to take this time right now to stop where I'm at. I presented a lot of information, and I want to hand the reins over to Mr. Gabe Pearson. Gabe Pearson is a mentor of mine. He's a businessman. He's an entrepreneur. He has his own story, and he also brought LifeVantage and these products to my attention and was instrumental in me becoming interested in becoming a part of this incredible organization. So Gabe, I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'm going to turn off my microphone here.
And can you close out your screen as well so I can share a screen? There we go. All right. Well, was that incredible or what? All right. I took so many good notes. I love listening to a professor lecture on something he's an expert in. And I tell you what, there's not a person on this planet would not want to be activated or would not want to flip switches on. And this is where my job comes in tonight, is to help everyone understand that there's actually a business attached to this incredible opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now. So let me get this on for everybody. There we go. Okay. What I want everyone to understand, that this company was a biotech company when it got off the ground back in 2003. Every one of us could have bought this product in a GNC store. And because nobody understood what oxidative stress is or was, they decided to put it into the oldest form of marketing, and that's word of mouth. That's how I found out about this opportunity literally 13 years ago. This is our headquarters just outside of Salt Lake City. As I mentioned, we are publicly traded. When I became a distributor, we were a pink sheet, meaning stock was at 17 cents. Today, we're on the NASDAQ. The company today is debt-free. And what I love about this company is how the company is being steered. We have the gurus of the business world that are board members on our team, and from companies like Coca-Cola, Airbnb, Amazon, SC Johnson, just to name a few. When I started with this company, we were only in the United States. Now, I said stock was at 17 cents. Now we're on the NASDAQ. We were only in the United States. There's only 3 studies on Protandim and one patent. Today, there's over 30 peer-reviewed studies. There's 7 patents alone just on NRF2. And now we have we're in over 2 dozen countries. So I've watched literally the company grow, and a lot of people who are listening to us right now, the business might not be for you, but certainly the product is. And there's a couple of questions I would just like to ask each and every one of you. You know, if you were like me, have you always wanted to own your own business? Simply to be your own boss, right? But really never had the money to get started, or you didn't want to go into debt, to get a business off the ground. Well, in this industry, in the network marketing industry, just understand this: it's a low startup cost. It's a one-time buy-in. And if you're like me, are you the type of individual who would rather work anywhere than just showing up at an office every day? Would you like to maybe figure out how to maybe get out of debt? You know, how to maybe start a college fund for your children, or pay off the college for your kids? All these are benefits of this business. And so be thinking about that. Do you want to catch up in retirement? Do you want to start saving for retirement? Do you have a retirement? When I got started back in 2009, I started this side hustle simply to make $2,200 a month to keep my 2 children in private school. Never in a million years would I've ever thought that I would be doing this full time. And I was able to walk away from a 33-year career in 22 months. And it's been over 11 years now that I've been doing this business full time. So it's a huge opportunity if you're looking for one. And with the way the economy is right now that Dr. Goodman was talking about, I tell you what, it could be what you've been looking for. What I was taught is you always want to dig that well before you need water. You never want to wait until you need water but don't have the well, right? And always remember, don't let these small minds convince you that your dreams are too big. So be thinking about that when I talk about this incredible opportunity. So my point is the company is growing. It's the best kept secret out there. Nobody knows what the activation of pathways are. They don't understand the word supplementation has now been replaced by the word activation. And I got this trend out because of what this country has experienced in the last 2.5 years. Never in history have people ever been more concerned with their health because of this pandemic, right? Well, look at that top part of that graph right there, over 35%. There's an increase in wellness sales over the last 8 years, right? Now, this came out in 2018. When did the pandemic hit? So think about what that number is now, that it's all on our brains, where we understand how important our health is, right? And we have something that nobody else has, as Dr. Goodman said to us. Now, think about that from a business standpoint. Think about the business that you're in. If you own your own business or if you're working for someone, what if you had no competition? Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I was able to watch the ABC primetime news piece when I was looking at this opportunity. It's the beginning of the company's story. And if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend that you watch it. And the person who invited you to this webinar tonight can bring you up to speed. That ABC news piece came out in 2005, right? So now we have 3 activators, not just one, as the ABC News talks about. So there's a massive opportunity. So what I saw was a ABC News piece that had incredible credibility, and all I did in a business that had no competition, and all I did was point, guide, direct people to that video, and then put them on the phone with somebody smarter than myself. And that's the question I want to ask all of you. Can you do that? And if you can, you'll have tremendous success. So what's in it for you? How can you level up your bank account with LifeVantage? Well, think about the social side hustle now on what's going on. And there's so many more than what you see down here other than these 6 companies. I mean, you got Twitter, you got all kinds of new apps that are out there that you're able to build a massive business online. And what I tell everybody today, people who build networks are the richest people in the world. Everyone else has a job. Everyone is really trading time for money. So if you want to do something one time and get paid again and again and again, that's called leveraged income. That's what this company is all about. So think how much faster today you can build your business with the likes of Facebook, and Instagram, and all the social apps out there. So, think about companies like Airbnb. How much money did they spend last year buying property? 0. What about Uber? What was their maintenance bill on all of their taxi cabs? They don't own any. 0, right? They use our homes in condominiums on the ocean, right? They use our vehicles. So these companies were smart enough to build a network, right, of people, and they capitalized on it. They don't have the outgo that traditional businesses have. So if you look at the top 10 companies in the world today, They're building networks. Now, if you look 20 years ago, they didn't exist. So that's what this company will help you with this side hustle. So how would you like to have a company that you can operate from anywhere, right? All you need is literally one of these or a laptop. You're just sharing socially, right? You don't have a physical location. Think about people who own their own business. Think about Dr. Goodman, how much money it cost him with all the equipment he has to be able to treat his patients, what it cost to start that business, right? What it cost to start a Starbucks. It's over $1 million today, right? The outgo is exorbitant. With this business model, my business today does well over $1 million a month in sales, and it only costs me roughly $250 a month to operate. Now, if you own your own business, what would your balance sheet look like if your outgo each month was $250? And by the way, I can show you on how you can, reduce that 250 all the way down to $50 a month, right? So think about that for a second. So when I saw this opportunity, it got my attention. I owned 3 gyms at one time. I was the last one to be paid. The outgo was exorbitant. We didn't bring in enough cash to operate the business, so I had to sell our paper to finance companies. So it's an incredible online shopping mall. Think about that. People ask me today, what do? I own a global wellness business that's in over 25 countries. It's a one-time buy-in, folks, and that's what I want to talk to you about right now. We have 3 different packs, and I don't have the picture of the second pack. I'll just tell you what it is, but look at that for a second. To own your own global business in 25 countries, doing what we are doing tonight, right? I'm in Florida, Dana Marie is in Arizona, and Dr. Goodman's in Georgia, right? For $300, and look what you're getting. You are getting the category Tri-Synergizer in that pack right there with some other products. It's a one-time buy-in. My first gym back in 1987 cost me $500,000. This is a one-time buy-in for $300. So my point is, where's the risk? And then your outgo is literally 1 bottle of Protandim NRF2 a month. Now, if you want to be paid 100% of the compensation plan, you're going to have 3 or 4 customers. That totals 200 in what we call personal volume. So look what you get. You get a starter kit, you get your Protandims, you get your ProBio, you get your anti-aging cream, and you get some sample packs of Axio. That's what we call the Premier Pack. Now, me personally, I came in on the Elite Pack. You get a bigger bang for your buck. There's more volume to it. You get to sample all the products. If I was going to come into the business again, unequivocally, I would come in this way again, because you're creating the right behavior. And again, it's a bigger bang for your buck. You're getting nearly $2,000 worth of product for $999. Okay. So you get in where you fit in, right? We do have a third pack. We just came out with another category creating product, our liquid collagen. And as Dr. Goodman alluded, we don't have time to go into all the products tonight, but it's called the Essential Glow Pack. You get 2 bottles of Protandim and you get 10 count of liquid collagen for $374. So you just get in where you fit in, get what you want. Me personally is you can't sell something unless that you're actively using the product, right? That's why I love the Elite Pack. And by the way, you create the right behavior because your friend's going to say, hey, Gabe, how did you come in? And they'll come in the same way you do. And you just kind of grow your business exponentially faster. When I was looking at this business, I had 3 questions, right? The first was, what's the cost of getting started? And when they told me it was, $300, $375 or $1,000 and it was a one-time buy-in after owning gyms, I thought they had a screw loose, right? The next question I had was what's the cost of doing business? Because my outgo owning gyms, was there's no way you can make money in that business. We never, in the 20 years I owned through those gyms, we never had one year that was profitable. So when I found out it was only roughly $250 a month, I started laughing, right? And then the third question I had was, how do you get your money back? And if you look at this, this is really simple. This is based on the platinum pack that I had mentioned, the one that I came in. If you personally enroll 3 platinum packs, the commission, the one-time payout when you sell a distributorship is they're going to give you 40% of that. So you're going to make $340 for each of those 3 packs. Now you've got your money back. Now you're operating in the black. So one of the very first things that we teach when you join this team is to get you in profit mode within the first 30 days of your business. And when you tell your friends you're already in the black, now they're yanking on your shirt, your shirt sleeve. They want to know more about the opportunity. And there's what I meant at the very bottom, 200 in personal volume to be able to maximize the compensation plan. And that's the cost of doing business. I'm not going to go into all 7 ways of getting paid. This one way really got my attention because, as I mentioned earlier, there was not one month or 1 year that we were able to have some profits, some checks that were profits from that year. And once you hit a certain rank, there's 10 ranks to our compensation plan. When you hit a Pro 7 rank, when your business is doing $100,000 a month, and you might sound like, oh my goodness, that's a lot. You remember this, you're building a network. You can have 4 people on your team and you're included in that 4. And all 4 of you are doing 25,000 each, right? There's your 100,000. Or you could have 10 people on your team. You're included in that 10 and you're all doing 10,000 in revenues. Now you're a Pro 7, right? So once you become a Pro 7, now you're sharing in global revenue sales. So you share in 1% of global revenue shares. When you hit Pro 8, when your business doubles, you're doing 200,000 in volume. Now you're profiting in 2% of global sales. And when you hit Pro 9, when your business is doing 500,000 in sales, you're profiting in 3% of global sales. I am a Master Pro 10, so I'm profiting in all 4% of those global sales. I can't quantify to each and every one of you how enormous that is from a compensation statement. It's massive. And to kind of keep this simple for all the analyticals that are out there, for every dollar that you bring in to your business, LifeVantage pays you 48%. Now, for all the salespeople out there, you get paid 48% of what you're selling. Massive. It's absolutely massive. And I have this slide to kind of help you to understand the significance of what I'm talking about. Dr. Neil Goodman, he is a Pro 6 in our business, and he's just doing this as a side hustle, part-time. It's just a value added to his business. It's in his repertoire of products and services that he gives to his patients. And if you just go down the left side of this annual earnings disclosure statement, Premier Pro 6, which you're doing $50,000 a month in revenue, the average monthly income is just under $7,000 a month. Now, what's that times 12? Right? So what I did is I just highlighted some ranks. When you hit Pro 3, that's only $5,000 a month in revenue. The company unlocks ways, actually 2 more ways for you to get paid 2 other ways, right? And look at the average. What would the American person do with an extra $626 a month? Do you think that would help them on a monthly basis? Unequivocally, yes. Right? Based on what we're, whether it's food, whether it's gas, whatever is going on in your life right now, it's a side hustle to start with, folks. I started out with this business to make $2,200 a month to keep my kids in private school. It's that simple, right? Look at Premier Pro 5. Pro 5, now you're making over $3,000 a month. And when you get to the elite ranks, that Elite Pro 7, look at the average monthly income. It's over $13,000 a month. So you can see the significance of the income that's associated with this industry when you build a network. Remember, the richest people in the world build networks. Everyone else has a job. Never forget that. You've got to figure out a way on how to make money while you sleep. I had mentioned we're in 25 countries. When I go to sleep tonight, I'm making money in Hong Kong, Japan, Australia, Thailand, Taiwan, Southeast Asia, right? The Southern Hemisphere. When I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm making money in the United States, Canada, Mexico. So how would you like to be making 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Hit that Pro 7 rank, and that's when it starts to happen. So this is big, folks. First and foremost, I truly believe that it's our responsibility to go to everyone that you love and care for and help them understand the difference between taking antioxidants and having your body make them. And when they understand the significance, how do I get it? What do I need to do? Right? So Dr. Neil Goodman did such an eloquent job helping you understand the difference between taking them and having your body make them. And again, the only product in the world that can do so, that is peer-reviewed on the product and has patents behind it, and we have exclusivity. Nobody can go to a Target or to a Walmart and get an NRF2 activator, right? They have to come through us. So hopefully I've got your mind moving in that direction about a one-time buy-in, the low-cost startup, low-cost, to operate your business, and share this with people that you love and care for. In the 13 years that I've been with LifeVantage, I personally have enrolled 42 distributors. These are just distributors, not customers, in 13 years. So divide that by how many months 13 years is. And now those 40 people have led me to over 150,000 in my network. But because I hit that Pro 7, Pro 8, Pro 9, and Pro 10 rank, I get paid on the entire company. So I ask you, how would you like to get paid on the entire company? Not just your network, the company's network. That's what Dr. Neil Goodman sees. That's what Dana Marie sees. That should be everyone's first goal, is to that Elite Pro 7 rank. That changes your life. And do this from a side hustle standpoint. And what I mean by that, folks, it does not interfere with what you are currently doing. You don't have to work 9 to 5 and then go to an Outback and be a waiter or a waitress and be there from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and run yourself ragged. You have flexible hours. You can do this. I did this in my car when I was going from one gym to another. All I did was make 2 phone calls a day. That's all I did. 22 months later, I had the choice to walk away from a 30+ year career and do this full time. And I was a Elite Pro 8 when that happened. Now I've built my business literally 6x from that Pro 8s when your business is doing 200,000 a month in revenues. So this is my first time in this industry. If I can do this, every single one of you can do this. And Dana Marie, Dr. Neil Goodman, and myself would love to have you on our team, and let us help you. Let us teach you what we've been taught. It's a very duplicable, simplistic, perfected system, and systems don't fail, folks. So the $64,000 question is, can I do this? The company provides everything, all the training for you. How would you like to have Dr. Neil Goodman do his science presentation for a few of your friends and family? How cool is that? That's what this business is all about. So never, ever depend on a single income, right? Especially what we're about to experience in the first quarter of 2023. So where do you go from here? If you need more information, get with the person that invited you to this webinar, and they'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. If the business isn't for you, get with the person who invited you, and my goodness, unequivocally get on that Tri-Synergizer at the very least, right? And understand what your body's going to feel like being activated, right? And if you see an opportunity like Dr. Neil Goodman did, Dana Marie did, and I did, we'd love to have you join this team, and we can set up another webinar just like this and launch your business for you. So thank you so much for getting on the webinar tonight. I'll hand this back to Dana Marie.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Have a great evening and a better tomorrow. And we hope that you come visit us again. Thank you.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.